now we want some animations when you click on the character, because right now nothing's happening when you click on them other than the lighting. Let me exit play mode. I want to go into the abilities folder, or it was called the states for the player, and I want a new folder. I'm going to call it click animation, because it's an animation that happens when you click on it. And I want to have, well, before we do this, I want to go into the yellow bot. I want to go into the animator window, go into parameters, and I want to add a parameter, a bold parameter called click animation. And whenever this is turned on, the character does some sort of an animation. We want the character to walk forward a little bit when you click on them, just like Diablo 2. So I'm going to look for the walk animation. Walking. I'm going to rename it just to make everything clear. Click animation. And from idle to walk, it's going to get triggered. Not the exit time, it's going to get triggered when we have click animation. And let me adjust the transition. I want it to be quick. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the click animation folder and create a force transition ability. Force transition, player, click animation, force, click animation, walk, force transition. So here you're going to walk. Let me add the states and the ability first. So you're going to start walking, but at somewhere around 50% of the animation, you're going to go into the idle state. So let me look for idle. Again, rename it to make things clear. Click animation. And I'm going to add the transition from here to here. And it's going to be based on force transition parameter, which is going to get triggered by this ability. I'm also going to go into the state scripts folder, and I want to create a new ability, a new C# script, and I'm going to call it turn on. I think it was called root motion. We're going to use something called root motion for the click animations. Go in there. I'm going to press Control T just to get some other ability. Just to copy paste the format and change the names. Turn on root motion. Get rid of everything. I might have copy pasted something that is too long, but it doesn't matter. So now we have a turn on root motion ability. And what I want to do here is first get the character control, as always. Get character control. And I want to turn on the root motion for the animator. Apply root motion is true for this ability. And when this ability, or when the animation finishes, we want to turn it back off. Okay, so let me go back to Unity. And I'm going to go to the walking click animation ability. I want to add a new slot. I'm going to go to the folder, create that ability as a scriptable object. Turn on root motion. Name it player click animation walk turn on root motion. And I'm gonna add this ability to the walk. Okay. Looks all right. Let me go to the game window and click play just to make sure that things are working. We don't have any UI or some sort of a script to turn on click animation, so we're going to do it manually for now. I'm going to click on the YBot animator, and I'm going to click on this thing, turn this on manually. So we see that as soon as this gets turned on, the root motion for the walk gets turned on and the player walks forward just a little bit. I'm going to go to mixamo.com. And instead of just going idle, I want some sort of a gimmicky animation. A battle cry, for example. We're going to trigger this animation after the player walks forward. So let's download it. And once you're done downloading, again, we're going to import it to the Mixamo animations folder. Okay, I'm going to rename it. Just battle cry. And do everything that I always do. Humanoid, configure, sample T-bind pose, done, animation, rename it, battle cry. Check some of the boxes. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the animator window, and we're going to drag this animation in. Okay, and instead of going idle, I want to make a transition from walking to the battle cry when force transition is true. Okay, I'm going to delete this transition. I'm going to go to idle after the battle cry. Okay, do the same thing, add a force transition. And I'm going to have a new ability, force transition, player, click animation, battle cry, force transition. Maybe 60%. I'm just going to guess the number for now. Click on battle cry, add the ability. Drag this in and let's test it. So I'm going to click on the YBot and turn on click animation. Okay, seems to be working fine. So once you're done with the click animation, you want to be able to walk back to where you were. So I'm going to have another walking animation, drag it into the animator, and rename it click animation. Except this is going to be a reverse animation. So I'm going to make this speed -1. Again, foot IK is going to be true. And this also is going to have the root motion, which means it's going to move, the animation alone is going to move the player. Where did it go? So click animation, turn on root motion. And from idle to walking backwards, that transition is going to be triggered by the click animation, except that's going to happen when it is false. And again, adjust the graph here. Okay. let me add another ability here. I want the same type of force transition for the walk because it's exactly the same as what's here, except it's done in reverse. And then we go back to the idle state when force transition is true. Something like that. Okay, so let's play again and test it. So I'm going to click on click animation. So we get the battle cry. And if you click on it again, we get a reverse walk animation, which puts a player back into its position. Let me bring this down here and see it again. Okay, looks about right. And because all the other characters are exactly the same, except for the colors, should work the same. Let me try the green. Okay, looks good. And later on, we're going to assign different animations for different characters. Obviously, we're not going to use the exact same animations. And that's pretty much it for today. In the next video, I'm going to make some script that's going to trigger the animation by the mouse click, not manually by doing it here. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.